The silence in the Naval Special Warfare Armory was deafening as Petty Officer First Class Marcus Ghost Rivera placed his $10 Zero custom Mk-18 rifle into the hands of a woman everyone called just a contractor. 3 certified military armorers had already declared the weapon unfixable, recommending complete barrel replacement. But Rivera was desperate. This rifle had saved his life in 17 missions and was perfectly zeroed to his shooting style. Emma Wrench Davis, 34, worked in the forgotten corner of the Coronado Armory, her civilian status making her invisible to the military staff who handled the important weapons. While other armorers used power tools and diagnostic equipment, Emma worked with surgical precision using only hand tools, her fingers moving over metal with the confidence of someone who understood weapons at a molecular level. What happened next would shatter every assumption about expertise, credentials, and the quiet woman who'd been fixing unfixable weapons while everyone else took the credit. The truth about Emma's background would transform not just one rifle, but the entire armory's understanding of what real expertise looks like. The Naval Special Warfare Armory in Coronado, California, represented the pinnacle of military weapons maintenance, where the most elite operators in the U.S. military brought their custom rifles for service. This wasn't a standard military facility. It was a specialized workshop where weapons worth tens of thousands of dollars received treatment from certified armorers with decades of experience. The facility buzzed with activity as SEALs, Green Berets, and other special operations personnel trusted their lives to the technicians who maintained their precision instruments. The Armory's hierarchy was rigid and traditional. Military armorers held the prestigious positions, handling the complex custom rifles that special operators depended on. Civilian contractors occupied support roles, relegated to basic maintenance and cleaning duties. This system had worked for decades, creating a clear distinction between those who really knew weapons and those who simply maintained them. Emma Davis had grown up in rural Montana, where her father ran a custom gunsmithing shop that served hunters and competitive shooters. By age 12, she could field strip a rifle blindfolded and diagnose mechanical problems by sound alone. Her understanding of weapons wasn't academic, it was intuitive, developed through thousands of hours working with metal, springs, and precision mechanisms. Her military career began in 2010 when she enlisted as a small arms repairer. But her exceptional skills quickly caught the attention of Special Operations Command. Within 2 years, she'd been recruited into the Special Operations Task Force SOTF as a field armorer, a classified position that embedded her with the military's most elite units during black operations. For 6 years, she maintained weapons in conditions where mechanical failure meant death, working in forward operating bases where replacement parts were impossible to obtain and improvisation was survival. Her service record was classified at the highest levels, documenting her work with units that officially didn't exist. She'd repaired rifles damaged by IEDs, modified weapons for specific missions, and developed field techniques that kept operators alive in impossible conditions. Her expertise extended beyond simple maintenance to understanding how weapons performed under extreme stress, how environmental factors affected accuracy, and how to optimize performance using available materials. The end of her classified service in 2019 had been abrupt and bureaucratic. Budget cuts eliminated her position, and her specialized skills didn't translate easily to civilian employment. When the Coronado Armory offered her a contractor position, she'd accepted gratefully, content to work with weapons again, even if it meant accepting a dramatically reduced role. The Armory's treatment of Emma represented a fundamental misunderstanding of expertise versus credentials. Master Chief Tony Bulldog Rodriguez's leadership style prioritized military rank and official certifications over actual capability, creating a system where the most skilled person in the facility was relegated to menial tasks. This wasn't just personal prejudice, it was institutional blindness that wasted valuable resources while potentially compromising operator safety. Emma's position in the Armory's hierarchy reflected broader military culture challenges around civilian contractors and gender bias. Her quiet demeanor and preference for working alone were interpreted as lack of confidence rather than professional focus. The other armorer's dismissal of her capabilities created dangerous gaps in quality control, as weapons she'd quietly improved were credited to others, while her actual expertise remained hidden. The stakes extended beyond workplace dynamics to operational readiness. Special operations units depended on weapon reliability for mission success and personal survival. Any failure in the Armory's quality control could result in catastrophic consequences in the field, making the recognition and utilization of all available expertise a matter of life and death. But fate was about to place Emma in a situation where her hidden expertise would become impossible to ignore. The morning of March 15th brought Rivera's crisis to the Armory with the urgency of a medical emergency. His Mk-18 rifle, a weapon that had become an extension of his body through 17 combat missions, had developed a carbon jam so severe that it threatened to end his operational career. The rifle wasn't just equipment. It was a precision instrument zeroed specifically to his shooting style. With custom modifications that had taken months to perfect, 3 military armorers had already examined the weapon using standard diagnostic procedures. Staff Sergeant Mike Wrench Wilson had spent 4 hours attempting to clear the jam using conventional techniques, ultimately declaring the carbon buildup too severe for normal cleaning methods. Senior Armorer Chief Petty Officer James Hammer Thompson had recommended complete barrel replacement, a process that would destroy the weapon's custom zero and require weeks of recalibration. Rivera's desperation was palpable as he pleaded with Master Chief Rodriguez for alternatives. This rifle had saved his life in Kandahar, performed flawlessly during a hostage rescue in Somalia, and maintained perfect accuracy through countless training exercises. The thought of losing it to a mechanical problem felt like losing a trusted teammate. Emma had been working in her corner of the armory, methodically cleaning weapons that other armorers had given up on. Her workstation was notably quiet compared to the power tools and loud conversations elsewhere, marked by hand tools arranged with surgical precision and a magnifying lamp that provided detailed illumination. She'd developed her own techniques for weapon maintenance, approaches that emphasized understanding the weapon's mechanical personality rather than following standardized procedures. Her position allowed her to observe the other armorers' work without being noticed, and she'd watched their attempts to repair Rivera's rifle with growing concern. Their diagnostic approaches were technically correct, but mechanically incomplete. They were treating symptoms rather than identifying root causes. Emma's experience with similar carbon jams in field conditions had taught her that the problem was likely systemic rather than localized. As Rivera's frustration mounted, Emma found herself mentally analyzing the weapon's problem from her workstation. The symptoms described intermittent feeding issues, inconsistent ejection patterns, and progressive accuracy degradation suggested a gas system problem rather than simple chamber fouling. Her field experience had taught her to recognize these patterns, but her civilian contractor status meant her insights weren't welcome in official diagnostic procedures. Emma's decision to approach Rivera required overcoming months of institutional conditioning that had relegated her to the background. Her voice was barely audible as she asked, "May I take a look?" The request seemed almost presumptuous given the hierarchy of expertise that had already declared the weapon unfixable. Rodriguez's laughter was immediate and dismissive. "Davis, if my certified armorers can't fix it, what makes you think you can?" His response reflected the armory's fundamental assumption that civilian contractors lacked the expertise for complex repairs. The suggestion that Emma might succeed where military professionals had failed seemed absurd to everyone present. But Rivera's desperation overrode protocol. Facing the loss of his trusted weapon, he was willing to try anything, even if it meant trusting a civilian contractor. His decision to hand Emma the rifle represented a leap of faith that would transform everything, not just for his weapon, but for the entire armory's understanding of expertise and capability. Emma accepted the rifle with the reverence of someone who understood its significance. This wasn't just a mechanical device, but a precision instrument that had kept a warrior alive through multiple combat deployments. Her hands moved over the weapon with practiced confidence, feeling for vibrations and inconsistencies that diagnostic equipment couldn't detect. But what Emma discovered in those first moments of examination would reveal a problem far more complex than anyone had imagined. Emma's initial examination revealed the inadequacy of the previous diagnostic attempts. While other armorers had focused on the obvious carbon buildup in the chamber, Emma's trained fingers detected subtle vibrations in the gas system that indicated a more complex problem. The carbon jam wasn't the root cause. It was a symptom of a gas pressure differential that had been building for months. Her diagnostic approach differed fundamentally from standard military procedures. Instead of relying on scopes and measuring equipment, Emma listened to the weapon, feeling for mechanical inconsistencies that machines couldn't detect. She'd developed this technique during her classified service, where field conditions often prevented the use of sophisticated diagnostic tools. Her hands had become precision instruments, capable of detecting problems through touch and sound. The complexity of the repair became apparent as Emma began her systematic examination. The carbon buildup had created a cascade effect throughout the weapon's operating system, affecting not just the chamber, but the entire gas-operated mechanism. Previous repair attempts had actually worsened the problem by addressing symptoms while ignoring the underlying mechanical issues that had caused the initial failure. Word of Emma's attempt spread quickly through the armory, creating an audience of skeptical military professionals who expected to witness her failure. Staff Sergeant Wilson made no attempt To hide his amusement, this should be entertaining. Watch the contractor try to fix what real armorers couldn't. The pressure was immense, not just to repair the weapon, but to justify her presumption in attempting what certified professionals had declared impossible. Rivera's presence added another layer of complexity to the situation. His career, and potentially his life, depended on the rifle's reliability, and he was trusting a civilian contractor with his most important piece of equipment. The weight of that responsibility was evident in Emma's careful movements as she began the delicate process of disassembly. Master Chief Rodriguez watched with barely concealed irritation, clearly expecting Emma's failure to reinforce the armory's existing hierarchy. Her success would challenge fundamental assumptions about expertise and capability, potentially undermining the authority structure that had governed the facility for decades. The stakes extended beyond a single weapon repair to the entire organizational culture of the armory. As Emma worked, her confidence grew with each component she examined. The mechanical problems that had stymied other armorers were familiar territory for someone with her background. Her hands moved with surgical precision, each movement deliberate and economical. Years of working under combat conditions had taught her to waste no motion and trust her instincts completely. Her diagnostic techniques revealed the true extent of her expertise. While other armorers had relied on standard procedures, Emma approached each weapon as a unique mechanical personality, requiring individual attention. She could feel the weapon's history in its metal, the stress patterns from repeated firing, the wear characteristics that indicated specific usage patterns, and the subtle modifications that had been made over time. The repair process became a demonstration of mastery that transcended formal training. Emma's understanding of weapons was intuitive and comprehensive, developed through years of hands-on experience under conditions where failure meant death. Her quiet confidence began to affect the watching armorers, who gradually realized they were witnessing something extraordinary as Emma delved deeper into the weapon's mechanism. She discovered problems that went beyond the obvious carbon jam. The gas system had been compromised by improper previous maintenance, creating pressure inconsistencies that would eventually cause catastrophic failure. The weapon wasn't just jammed, it was potentially dangerous, capable of causing serious injury to the operator during firing. Her discovery created a new level of urgency. Rivera's rifle wasn't just non-functional. It was a safety hazard that could have resulted in serious injury or death during his next mission. The implications were staggering. How many other weapons had been inadequately serviced, creating hidden dangers for operators who trusted their lives to the armory's work. The complexity of the required repairs began to test even Emma's exceptional skills. The damage was more extensive than initially apparent, requiring not just cleaning, but precision mechanical work to restore the weapon's safety and reliability. The watching armorers began to realize that Emma was attempting repairs that would challenge even the most experienced professionals. And then Emma made a discovery that would change everything, not just about the rifle, but about the entire armory's understanding of weapons maintenance. 30 minutes into the repair, Emma's examination revealed the true scope of the problem. The carbon jam was merely the visible symptom of a catastrophic failure in the weapon's gas system that had been building for months. Previous maintenance attempts had actually worsened the situation by forcing carbon deeper into the system, creating blockages in areas that standard cleaning procedures couldn't reach. The weapon's condition was far more dangerous than anyone had realized. The gas pressure differential hadn't just caused feeding problems, it had created the potential for a catastrophic overpressure event that could have caused the weapon to explode during firing. Rivera had been carrying what amounted to a sophisticated bomb, and only the carbon jam had prevented a potentially fatal malfunction during his last mission. Emma's discovery sent shockwaves through the watching armorers. Staff Sergeant Wilson's amusement disappeared as he realized the implications. "Are you saying this weapon could have killed him?" Emma's quiet confirmation was devastating. The next time he pulled the trigger, probably yes. The Armory's quality control procedures had failed catastrophically, nearly resulting in the death of an elite operator. The extent of the damage presented Emma with an impossible choice. The repair required techniques and modifications that went far beyond standard Armory procedures, potentially violating official protocols and warranty requirements. She could attempt the complex restoration that the weapon needed, or she could recommend the barrel replacement that other armorers had suggested, the safe, bureaucratically acceptable solution that would destroy the weapon's custom characteristics. Rivera's desperate plea was simple: "Can you save it?" But Emma knew that the repair would require her to reveal capabilities that she'd kept hidden for months. The techniques necessary to restore the weapon would demonstrate expertise that contradicted her official contractor status, potentially raising questions about her background that she wasn't prepared to answer. Master Chief Rodriguez's pressure was immediate and intense. "Davis, if you can't fix it safely, don't touch it. I won't have a contractor taking risks with a SEAL's life." His words carried the weight of command authority. But Emma recognized the deeper challenge. She could maintain her cover and recommend the safe solution, or she could reveal her true capabilities and attempt the impossible repair. Emma's decision crystallized as she looked at Rivera's desperate expression. This weapon wasn't just equipment. It was a precision instrument that had kept a warrior alive through 17 combat missions. Her oath as a professional, even if unrecognized in her current role, demanded that she attempt the repair regardless of personal consequences. Her response was characteristically quiet, but definitive. "I can fix it, but I'll need to work alone, and I'll need everyone to trust my methods." The request was unprecedented, a civilian contractor asking for complete autonomy to perform repairs that certified military armorers had declared impossible. Rodriguez's hesitation was visible, but Rivera's immediate agreement overrode protocol. Emma began the complex restoration process with movements that revealed her true expertise. Her disassembly techniques were precise and economical, each action demonstrating mastery that transcended formal training. The watching armorers gradually realized they were witnessing something extraordinary, not just weapon repair, but artistry applied to mechanical precision. What happened next would not only save Rivera's rifle, but revolutionize everything the Armory thought it knew about weapons maintenance. Emma's preparation for the critical repair phase was methodical and precise. She arranged her hand tools with surgical precision, each implement positioned for immediate access during the complex restoration process. Her workspace became a sterile environment where every movement was calculated to maximize efficiency. while minimizing risk to the weapon's delicate mechanisms. The repair required techniques that went far beyond standard armory procedures. Emma would need to manually clear carbon deposits from areas that diagnostic equipment couldn't reach, using specialized tools and methods developed during her classified service. The process demanded not just technical skill, but intuitive understanding of how weapons behaved under extreme stress. Her mental preparation was equally important. This repair would require her to demonstrate capabilities that contradicted her official contractor status, potentially exposing her classified background. But Rivera's life depended on the weapon's reliability, and Emma's professional oath demanded that she attempt the repair regardless of personal consequences. The critical moment arrived as Emma began the delicate process of clearing the gas system blockages. Using tools that resembled surgical instruments more than standard armory equipment, she worked with movements so precise they seemed choreographed. Each action was deliberate and economical, with no wasted motion or unnecessary manipulation of the weapon's components. The watching armorers fell silent as they realized the complexity of what Emma was attempting. Her techniques were unlike anything they'd seen before, combining mechanical expertise with an almost mystical understanding of how weapons functioned. Staff Sergeant Wilson's skepticism gradually transformed into grudging respect as he watched Emma work with obvious mastery. Rivera's tension was palpable as he watched Emma disassemble his rifle with unprecedented precision. This weapon had saved his life repeatedly, and he was trusting a civilian contractor to restore it to perfect working condition. The weight of that responsibility was evident in Emma's careful movements as she accessed areas of the weapon that other armorers hadn't even examined. Emma's repair sequence began with the systematic removal of carbon deposits that had been building for months. Using specialized solvents and micro-tools, she cleared blockages in areas that standard cleaning procedures couldn't reach. Her movements were surgical in their precision, each action designed to restore the weapon's original mechanical tolerances without damaging delicate components. The gas system restoration required Emma to demonstrate her most advanced techniques. She manually adjusted pressure differentials using tools that she'd fabricated herself, working with tolerances measured in thousandths of an inch. The process demanded not just technical skill, but intuitive understanding of how gas-operated weapons functioned under combat conditions. But the repair revealed additional problems that tested even Emma's exceptional capabilities. The weapon's bolt carrier group had been damaged by the prolonged pressure differential, requiring precision work to restore proper timing and cycling. Emma's field experience had taught her to recognize these subtle mechanical issues that could cause catastrophic failure during firing. The restoration process became a demonstration of mastery that transcended formal training. Emma's understanding of weapons was comprehensive and intuitive, developed through years of maintaining rifles under conditions where mechanical failure meant death. Her quiet confidence began to affect the watching armorers, who gradually realized they were witnessing something extraordinary. As the repair neared completion, Emma performed a series of function checks that revealed the true extent of her expertise. She tested the weapon's timing, cycling, and pressure characteristics using techniques that weren't taught in standard armory schools. Her evaluation was thorough and professional, ensuring that every aspect of the weapon's performance met the exacting standards required for special operations use, Rivera's test firing of the restored rifle produced results that stunned everyone present. Not only was the carbon jam completely eliminated, but the weapon was shooting more accurately than ever before. Emma had somehow improved the gas system's efficiency during the repair, optimizing performance beyond the weapon's original specifications. The transformation was remarkable. Rivera's rifle, which had been declared unfixable by certified military armorers, now performed better than when it was new. Emma's repair hadn't just solved the immediate problem, it had enhanced the weapon's overall capability, demonstrating expertise that transcended simple maintenance. Master Chief Rodriguez's reaction was immediate and profound. Reading Emma's personnel file for the first time, he realized the catastrophic nature of his error. The woman he'd treated as a simple contractor was actually a former Special Operations Task Force field armorer with 6 years of embedded service in black operations. Her expertise exceeded that of his entire armory staff combined. But the revelation of Emma's true background would transform not just her status, but the entire armory's approach to weapons maintenance. The revelation of Emma's classified background created immediate shock waves throughout the Naval Special Warfare Command structure. Within 24 hours, she was promoted to Senior Weapons Specialist with her own section of the armory and a classified clearance that allowed her to work on the most sensitive special operations equipment. Rivera immediately requested that Emma be assigned as his personal armorer. Recognizing that his life depended on her expertise, the bureaucratic response was swift and comprehensive. Staff Sergeant Wilson, humiliated by his treatment of a superior professional, requested transfer to another facility. The other armorers who had dismissed Emma's capabilities now sought her mentorship, recognizing that her field experience provided insights that classroom training couldn't match. A custom rifle rack was installed in Emma's new workspace with an engraved plaque reading, "Let her finish Rivera's words," when other armorers had tried to interrupt her work. The phrase became a motto throughout the facility, reminding everyone that expertise often came in unexpected forms and should be recognized regardless of official credentials. Emma's techniques for extreme precision weapon maintenance became classified protocols throughout naval special warfare. Her approach to understanding weapons as individual mechanical personalities rather than standardized equipment revolutionized maintenance procedures, significantly improving reliability rates for special operations units worldwide. The Davis Protocol was implemented throughout special operations armories, requiring comprehensive skills assessments for all personnel regardless of their official job classifications. This policy change led to the discovery of numerous specialists whose capabilities had been overlooked by traditional credential-based evaluation systems. Military leadership schools began using Emma's case as a study in recognizing and utilizing hidden expertise within organizations. Her story became required reading for officers learning to identify and develop talent that might not fit traditional molds, but could provide critical capabilities when properly recognized and utilized. Today, Emma Davis runs the most advanced weapons maintenance facility in naval special warfare, where her techniques are classified at the highest levels and her expertise is legendary among special operations personnel. Her workshop has become a training center where the next generation of armorers learns to understand weapons, not just as mechanical devices, but as precision instruments requiring individual attention. Her teaching philosophy emphasizes that true expertise comes from understanding rather than credentials, and that the most valuable team members are often those who work quietly and competently without seeking recognition. The sign above her workbench reads, "Silence is not ignorance." Sometimes the quietest person in the room is the one who knows the most. The men who once called Emma just a contractor now refer to her as the weapon whisperer, acknowledging both her exceptional skills and her ability to diagnose problems that others couldn't detect. Her legacy extends beyond military applications, reminding leaders in every field that expertise often comes in unexpected packages, and that the person performing the most humble tasks might possess the most valuable knowledge. Sometimes, the most dangerous person in the room is indeed the one who's been quietly perfecting everyone else's work.